Hi, Angie here from Crafts at Home. Welcome back to this video series where I'm going to be featuring the art of quilting from Shape Artworks. Hopefully you will have completed your first 3 blocks and have them stored flat ready for joining in later issues. With this issue you'll be receiving the pink and white spot, pale blue spot, Brighton and pomegranate fabrics to create this shoe fly square. Before you begin, iron all of your fabrics so they're nice and flat, as this will make them easier to work with and improve the overall finish of your quilt. Let's start marking and cutting. So as you can see, up to page 14 I've looked at the cutting layouts and I've marked them all right on the fabrics. There's enough room to play with on the pavilion so you can get a nice picture for your centre square. I've changed the cutting layouts very slightly for the pomegranate and the blue and white spot. So the one thing I've noticed is people are saying that there isn't enough fabric provided. But if you have a look, make sure you're marking once and cutting once. You double check what you've got first. So on to the cutting. As you can see on these ones, where the edges are and I've actually coloured them in so I know to cut them off. I'm going to cut the pavilion. So I'll put my ruler up to the line that I've marked. Take the guard off and cut away from you. Do it again with this piece. And that's my nice centre pavilion square. I'll cut the blue for you. So you line it up. I'm going to go straight down the middle for my first cut. And then you've got the 2 separate triangles. Again. Now with this one, if you turn it so you've got the line running up in front of you. And then you just need to take your corners off. Again, hold down nicely, cut, and then it's just your 2 little corners that you need to take off the ends. I'm going to carry on cutting out all my pieces and I'll see you back here in a moment. Thin and prep. So now we've finished the cutting, I've laid it out as you would when the design's completed, just so you can have a reference of how you're going along. Your first thing to do is with the pomegranate and the blue spots. So you turn your corners over to face each other. And do that for all 4 corners. Again, taking care because we are working on the bias line. So you carefully butt your fabrics up so they're nicely lined up. And pin at a right angle to that seam. If you keep doing these for all 4 corners, and I'll see you over at the sewing machine in a moment. The first thing you'll notice is I've changed my stitch saver, just because last time it was getting a few threads in and I didn't want it to catch as it was going through. So these are the pieces that you're going to be sewing first. Now you need to make sure you go from point there to the point there, just so it's a nice 6mm seam. When you open it up, those threads will be oversewed. When you're popping it in, make sure that your fabrics are together and not folded back. Lift up your presser foot and pop in, making sure there's a couple of stitches between your stitch saver and your new piece. Sew on to your first pin and take that out. Carry on. If you do prefer to hand sew your blocks, then have a look at this video of how to sew. And leave a couple of stitches in between the 2 pieces, and then onto your second. Always make sure you start and stop with your needle down. Pop your third piece in, again to the point, and then sew to your first pin. And then your final piece. At this point you cut your stitch saver off from the back, and just pop it back through. There's your 4 corner pieces, and now I'll see you at the ironing board. Hi, so as you can see I've sewn all 4 pieces now, and I've also cut them apart. So we're now going to iron them open. With these ones, as directed, you need to iron over to the blue. So we have that side on top. You press your seam nice and flat and iron open. We'll carry on to the other 4. So now we've got those, we're going to re-look at the block. The next part is to get this centre strip done. So you take your Brighton fabric and your pink and white spot. You're going to fold these inwards and pin across that seam. So making sure that your corners line up neatly. Just pop a pin through. And just repeat on the other side. So I'm going to pop and get both of these seams sewn, and I'll meet you back here in a moment. So I've just gone along these two seams now, and I'm just going to press these flat and open. Need to make sure with these that you press towards the pink, so it's just easy to open it up. That's our centre part of the block ready. So pop that away for now. The next bit is to attach the squares that we made earlier onto the rectangles. Now if you can imagine, that's the top. You've got the bottom and the top there. So it goes so we go blues into the middle. Again, it makes it easier if you place everything first so you don't get confused as you're going through. So we just fold these in and then pin along that outside edge. Just make sure you pin that seam down and flat. Lay it back down, turn that one in, match the seams up. Put a couple of pins in. Making sure you pin that seam down. You repeat on this side, so you turn over, match your seams up. And then turn that one in. If you're going to be off on any of your seams, you want to make sure that it's along that edge and that edge so your middle still meet up nicely. I'm going to go along and sew these edges and I'll be back in a moment. So now I've gone across these outside edges, so this will now fold out. You need to iron them, but you need to iron them across to the pink. So the first thing we're going to do is turn it over, set that seam down, lift up slightly and iron open. We'll repeat on the other side. So you lay the pink on the top, set the seam and iron it open lightly. It's worth just remembering that you've got these edges that don't quite meet to your corner. That's fine because that's going to be taken up by the 6mm gap all around the block. So we'll do the same with this piece. Just double check that all your seams are lying nice and flat. Now it's time to add your middle section in. So now we need to pin the pieces together. If you flip over the bottom onto the middle, and you've got your opposite seams here, so you butt up against each other, making sure that they're flat, and pop a pin all the way through. You go onto this seam here and do exactly the same. This will make sure that your corners are nice and straight. If you want, you can pop two in the ends as well. I'm just going to pop one in my leading edge. You need to do the same on this one. So you flip over. I'm going to lift it so it's easier for me to work on. You butt those two up against each other. Just want to make sure that everything feels nice and flat. It's worth taking time over this area because otherwise you're only going to end up unstitching all of your work. You want to make sure on that edge it's the same. I'm just going to pin again what will be my leading edge going into that. Right, I'm just going to go and sew the top and bottom seams. and I'll be back in a moment. Hi, so now we've gone along the top and the bottom seams, it's time to do the final iron. So this one you need to iron towards the middle. So you top over, make sure you set your seam nice and just iron open towards the middle. Do the same on the other side. And just spend some time making sure that all of your seams are nice and flat on the back. It's important to press all these seams as instructed, as it reduces all of the excess seamage at the back. And there we go, there's our final shoe fly block. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and the shoe fly block that we've created. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified of our upcoming videos. Further information about crafts at home, the art of quilting and hache artworks can be found on the social media pages which are listed in the description. Don't forget to join us next week for issue 5 where we'll be making the Trafalgar block. Bye for now.